Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be having a look at some lies that we were all told as kids.
Number 15. Mother birds will abandon their babies or eggs if a human touch them. Many of you were probably told this misconception by your parents.
I don't think I was told that about birds, I think I was told that about other animals. I swear if you touched a puppy or like a chicken or like a duck whenever it was first born, it would think that you're the mother. Why did all parents tell us that? Like, that's literally such a big lie.
And were warned never to assist a baby bird or unhatched egg back into its nest. However, biologists have confirmed mother birds will not abandon their children if they are touched by human hands.
So we were literally all told a massive lie. Who decided to make up that lie? Because if that's been passed on from generation to generation, whoever created it needs to be put into jail, even though they're probably dead.
Number 14. The tongue has different regions to interpret taste. Many of you will probably recognize the diagrams of the tongue defining different taste regions, such as bitter, sweet, sour, etc. However, these regions do not actually exist.
But I was told this, like I swear I was told about this in school. I don't know who told me about the layers of my tongue and how they can interpret different tastes, but I swear I was told about it. Who is telling everyone all of these lies? All of these lies have been passed on because I swear I was taught about this in school.
The tongue can equally identify different tastes along its entire area. The tongue map was developed in 1901 by Harvard psychologist Edward G. Boring and was presented in his research paper published the same year.
So he's the person who lied about it. He's the big liar. Why did he lie about it?
People misinterpreted the idea of the different regions being mapped and labelled to mean these were where said tastes are transferred to the brain, when in reality it was a representation of minute differences in the threshold of detection levels throughout the tongue.
Oh, so we all interpreted it wrong. I kind of feel bad for him. He just called him a liar in front of hundreds of people. He's probably dead, but if his soul's watching this, I'm sorry.
Number 13. Cracking your knuckles will cause arthritis. This myth was rather recently debunked after extensive scientific research.
I've literally been told this as a child, so it's a lie. My mum literally told me that happens. I was never allowed to crack my fingers whenever I was younger because apparently it would like mess up my bones and give me arthritis. I've never been able to crack my fingers, like I've never actually really done it. Back whenever I was in primary school, kids could literally twist their finger and crack it in so many different ways. However, I can't even crack a single finger. I'm actually kind of annoyed about that. Like I feel like my body needs a good crack.
While knuckle cracking may be an ungodly sound to some, the truth is it could actually be beneficial to our joints. In April 2015, researchers from the University of Alberta, Canada, observed volunteers cracking their joints through an MRI scan and witnessed air bubbles bursting in the cavity of the joints.
I knew about the air bubbles being in between the joints, but now apparently it's good to crack your bones. I'm gonna have to learn how to crack my bones because I've never cracked them. To be fair, there's the odd time where I'll stand up and my legs crack really loudly, and whenever I hear people like cracking their bones, it makes me feel really sick.
Number 12. Chameleons change their colour to camouflage to their surroundings. It's easy to make this mistake because many animals and insects globally will have colours to help them hide within their surroundings. Chameleons were seen as spectacles of nature as they changed colours with what many believed was a camouflage technique. But this is simply not true.
Well, there's my childhood over. My whole childhood I thought that's what they done. Are they pronounced chameleons? I've never had one. All of my friends used to have like lizards and like snakes and everything whenever they were growing up. I just had a dog that died. Like I don't know why, I kind of feel like it's not a normal pet. It's kind of scary. People who have pet snakes are low-key kind of evil.
And is generally thought to be the cause due to chameleons managing to match the colour of their surroundings. They actually change colour in order to visibly display their moods, including aggression and mating behaviour.
Oh, so apparently they change colours to show their moods and emotions. If you ever see a red one, then don't go towards it because you're either going to get spunk all over you or attacked.
Number 11. The sugar high. People may have noticed that mass consumption of sugary substances will cause the consumer to experience feeling hyper and a sense of increased energy. It's a parental nightmare having their children jumping off the walls when it should be bedtime. And the sugar high myth is enough for parents to limit or completely cut off their child's sugar intake.
So it's all a lie. That is so evil. I know that sugar addiction's a real thing, but apparently sugar high isn't. Whenever I was younger, if I ate candy, I'd always feel crazy, like I get loads of energy. Is it all in my brain? Like, have I tricked myself into believing that? I now understand why all these lies have been passed from generation to generation, because I believed them all.
Various studies since the 70s have shown the sugar high is nothing more than a placebo effect. This became official when, in 1982, the National Institute of Health declared there was no link between sugar and hyperactivity.
There's another lie I've been told and believed my whole life. I feel like my whole childhood is slowly falling apart in front of my eyes. I understand the whole point of this video is to react to lies you were told as a kid, but I didn't realize they were going to go that deep.
Number 10. Humans have 5 senses. We all know the common senses: touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. Sadly, these often overlook other senses the body has. Your body includes senses of heat, cold, pain, itch, and pressure.
I guess that isn't a lie, but then it also is a lie. I was taught the big 5 ones in biology. I didn't know that we had more. Like, I literally thought we had 5. This video's really starting to mess with my brain. Like, I feel like I need to drink a load of coffee to actually understand what we're being told.
All of which are usually assumed to be touch, but all have their own nerve endings corresponding to each. The muscles also include senses of motion and tension, which is what leads us to clench our fists and squeeze our eyes shut in times of pain.
I mean, that does make a lot of sense, doesn't it? You guys, I feel like I've went back in time and returned to school to learn everything again. Like, I'm actually shocked right now.
Number 9. Redheads are going extinct. The rapid spreading of this myth is due to news coverage on the subject by reporters and researchers who haven't fully checked their sources.
Well, I mean, it's quite evident the redheads aren't going extinct. I would say a lot of Irish people are ginger. Like, aren't leprechauns ginger? I don't really know what leprechauns are, even though I am technically Northern Irish and British. I'm literally everything. As long as there's a ginger man and a ginger woman and they're both attracted to each other, we will still be producing ginger people. I don't think ginger people are going to be going extinct for a while. I mean, a lot of people seem to hate them because apparently they all have anger issues, but I guess they're here to stay.
Apart from redheads, the story has expanded to include blondes and people with blue eyes. The reason they're not going extinct is that the complexity of genetics would make it virtually impossible. The genetics behind what makes someone's hair or eyes a certain colour is the same as why some people have detached earlobes or have a certain skin colour.
Exactly. And also to add in that, sometimes black couples will have a white baby. It sounds crazy, but it's true. No matter what, your child could be born with like a different coloured hair or eyes to you. It's actually kind of scary. Like, imagine if I impregnated a girl and then she gave birth to a black baby. That is possible, but I'd be a bit weirded out.
Number 8. The Great Wall of China is the only man-made object you can see from space. First of all, nothing about this myth is true. The Great Wall of China is a massive structure running along nearly the entire northern Chinese border and was built in order to keep the invading Mongols from entering. The earliest mention of this myth is from the 1938 Richard Halliburton book, Second Book of Marvels.
Why are they all telling us lies? I swear we believe everything nowadays. Literally, if somebody sees something on Facebook or Twitter, they're automatically gonna believe it. Don't believe everything you see online and apparently now in school. I was taught all of these things in school and apparently now they're lies. In a way, school's like a massive scam. Maybe they're purposely trying to lie to us to make us dumber. Conspiracy Connor really popped out in this video, didn't he?
Which it states the Great Wall is the only man-made object astronomers say is visible from the moon. People have probably seen photos claiming to show the wall from space, but many of them are actually pointing to a river, with the wall being a few miles away and indecipherable from mountain ridges and other rivers.
So basically they've mixed up the Great Wall of China with a massive river. That is so embarrassing. Like, I actually feel so embarrassed for the people who genuinely believe that. I mean, I'm one of the people who believed it, but let's not act like I believed it. I feel like this video is a whole magic trick unveiled. Like, I'm learning so much.
Number 7. Glass is a slow-moving liquid. If one observes an old window, he or she might notice the wavy-looking surface to it, causing things on the other side to look distorted and even thicker at the bottom. The original hypothesis was glass was not a solid, but a supercooled liquid which slowly moves downward over time.
Okay, I've never believed that. I guess glass was a liquid at one point, but then it was like frozen. Maybe if it melts, it'll turn back into a liquid, but usually it looks like that so that people can't see through it. Like, I think it's purposely made to look like that. Everyone's got glass in their phones, in the cups they drink. Like, that is glass, but it's not a liquid. Like, imagine you're just drinking out of a glass and then it just like falls apart because it's a liquid. It would be a bit weird.
Unfortunately for those who believe the myth, the idea is not based on a scientific fact, and there is actually a much simpler explanation for the occurrence. During the early days, technology was still maturing after the Industrial Revolution, and machinery did not have the precision of their modern counterparts, resulting in faults in the final product.
Oh, so apparently all of the glass was faulty. I mean, it kind of looks cool. If you get glass that you can't properly see through, you feel protected, like you've got some privacy. I don't know why, but I find that type of glass really satisfying. I would much rather have the faulty glass than actual glass.
Number 6. Napoleon was short. The root of this myth is by a pretty understandable error. Napoleon's height was listed as 5'2", which is pretty short for his day. However, what is usually not brought to the attention is that French inches were longer than English inches, and Napoleon was actually 5'6". Some people would still consider this short for today, but it was average to above average in 19th century France.
I don't know how tall I am. Like, I'd say I'm like 5'7" or 8, maybe 9. I know I'm definitely not 6 foot, but to be honest, I've been growing recently. Like, in the past year, I've really shot up in height. I feel like I'm starting to finally have a glow up. Who was Napoleon? Like, I swear he was like a French king or something like that. Don't quiz me in history questions because I don't know anything about it. Whenever it comes to history, I'm the worst at it. Like, never, ever, ever ask me to talk about history because I'll get it all wrong.
Number 5. The Earth orbits around the Sun. This fact is slightly true, but also misleading. The Earth does in fact revolve around the Sun, but this is because the Sun is in close proximity to the solar system's base center, which is what the Earth and all other planets in our solar system revolve around.
You guys, I'm honestly so stupid because I've got absolutely no idea what he just said. I think he said that we do orbit the sun, but then we also don't. I'm just assuming it's because of gravity and like all planets are in alignment with each other. Are planets in alignment with each other? I used to be so smart whenever it came to planets whenever I was younger, but I actually don't know anything about them now.
The location of the base center is actually within the Sun, though slightly off-center. The Sun has been observed revolving slightly around in a similar fashion to regular orbits. The base center is the same as the gravitational pull of the Earth on the Moon, but with a much greater force, powerful enough to attract all nearby objects to circle around it.
Okay, I guess. Like, I guess it is true, but it's also not. I feel like I'm gonna look like such a Dumbo in this video. I just can't understand things, I'm sorry.
Number 4. Bats are blind. While not so much unknown anymore, many people still believe bats use echolocation because they are blind.
I literally was told growing up that bats are blind. You're telling me they can literally see? I'm sorry, bats are literally flying rats. Like, they're so scary. I swear, like, the majority of coronaviruses come from bats. They're just a nasty little animal, aren't they?
Anyone who's seen a bat will notice bats have eyes and will look around at its surroundings during the day. However, a bat's hearing is better than its eyesight, and echolocation is used in order to project a picture of their surroundings in the dark, whether it's within a cavern they inhabit or while they fly in the night sky in search of food. The sound waves bounce back in such a pattern so the bats can determine depth, shape, and proximity to objects around them.
So basically they do have eyes and their eyesight is okay, but they use their hearing for the majority of things. I feel like that's kind of like dogs, because dogs see in black and white, don't they? But they've got like whiskers for sensitivity. I don't know what I'm saying. All I know is that bats are awful, awful, awful animals. They're not even animals, they're little cretins.
Number 3. Blood deprived of oxygen is blue. Anyone observing the veins in the arms will notice they are blue. Therefore the blood must be blue, right? Actually no, and the veins aren't even blue. Textbooks are further to blame for this misconception, as diagrams present the veins as blue and arteries as red.
So textbooks are literally lying to us. I'm telling you guys, the schools are trying to make us dumber. Why are all of these schools feeding us lies? I knew that blood wasn't blue, like blood's literally red. Have you ever cut yourself and then it's red? That's blood. I've never seen blue blood. But to be fair, whenever I was younger, I watched a program on TV called One Born Every Minute, and the baby came out blue. Like, that actually scarred me, and that's why I'm scared of birth. Imagine giving birth to a Smurf. Oh, that rhyme, that was quite catchy, wasn't it?
The reason behind this is the use of colour for the sake of colour, and simplicity, since veins appear blue to us to the naked eye. The textbooks do the same, and it also helps show which take blood from the heart to the muscles and which take them back. The reason the veins appear blue is because the red colour is filtered out when trying to pierce through our fat. Also, whenever a person is given a blood test, blood is extracted from the veins into a deoxygenated syringe.
I don't know what that means, but I'm looking at the veins in my hand right now and they look purple. They're talking about blue and red veins, but I've got purple veins. Am I an alien? Like, are the government literally trying to poison me?
Number 2. Chewing gum takes 7 years to digest. Yet another old wives' tale in order to scare children. David Milov of the Nemours Children Clinic in Orlando told Scientific American It is simply not true gum stays in the digestive tract for 7 years.
Well, I mean, that's not hard to understand, is it? It's not rocket science knowing that gum doesn't stay in your body for 7 years. I feel like that's a thing you're told whenever you're like 4 to make sure you don't swallow it. Whenever I was younger, I used to always swallow chewing gum and I get really scared it would get stuck inside me. But then it would literally come out of me the next day. I think we were told that just in case we choke on it. Gum could easily kill you if it gets stuck in your throat.
And there is no danger in swallowing it. He said, were the rumour true, there would be countless x-rays and ultrasounds showing a build-up of chewing gum in people's bodies, and no such evidence has ever been presented.
So he literally just said it's not dangerous to swallow chewing gum. I used to always be terrified of swallowing it whenever I was younger. Even now I get scared whenever I swallow it. What have I been lied to my whole life? Like, I feel like I've opened a third eye. I'm genuinely gonna question everything now, you guys. How many lies do you think we've been told throughout our whole life? I need to watch more of these videos.
Number 1. A person eats spiders in their sleep. Anyone who reads facts from drink bottles or in certain fact books from the 90s will have heard this one, then forever fear falling asleep. It is a true arachnophobe's nightmare.
Exactly, I used to believe that whenever I was younger. Apparently you swallow 8 spiders in your lifetime because your mouth is open whenever you're sleeping. The other day I opened my window and a spider fell into my room and I don't know where it is. It was up in the corner over there yesterday, but I don't know where it's went. It's kind of just disappeared, but I'm looking around for it. Spiders are honestly so scary. But to be honest, whenever I was younger I used to have a pet spider called Tina, and it was like a big tarantula. It was a rose tarantula. She was really friendly, but like imagine if she crawled into my mouth whenever I was sleeping. I think I would just pass out.
Those who fear spiders can sleep easy from now on, because we do not eat an average of 3 spiders in our sleep per year. An average North American household is home to between 3 or 4 spiders, and if we encounter them, they are usually tending to their nests or webs in dark corners away from human interaction.
That is not true. Every single time I come into my room, the spiders literally jump at me. If I see a spider, I don't care. A bottle's getting thrown at it and it's getting squished. Anyways, guys, that is the end of the video. That was some lies we were all told as kids. I'm honestly shocked by the amount of information I ingested throughout this video. Like, I feel like a completely new person. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the subscribe button, and yes, I will see you all in my next video.